Would you believe that there is a country in the world where some of the mysteries that are thousands of years old still make modern science uneasy? A country where lost cities are hidden under the jungle, huge stone guardians of an unknown civilization stand on the slopes of mountains, and small objects made of gold have even made some engineers question, were these really just ornaments? What is even more surprising is that all these mysteries are spread within the same country. The name of that country is Colombia. When most people hear the name Colombia, they think of coffee, mountains, or a turbulent political history. But very few people know that there are many questions buried under the soil of this country, the answers to which are still not fully known. And today we are going to enter the world of those questions, in search of 5 mysteries that challenge our conventional ideas about history. But don't leave the video before knowing the last mystery, because the more we go, the more you will realize that this is not just about archaeology, but also about human knowledge, technology, and our ideas about the past. Let's start with an object that, despite its small size, is surrounded by a huge amount of controversy. Many years ago, a strange stone disc was discovered in a region of Colombia. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary artifact, but those who examine it closely quickly realize that the matter is not so simple. The disc was engraved with such delicate carvings that it seems extremely difficult to make without modern equipment. What is even more surprising is that the arrangement of the carvings, according to some researchers, surprisingly corresponds to the various stages of human prenatal development. On the outer part, there are some designs that many have found to symbolize the early stages of reproduction. As you move towards the center, the images become more complex. Some observers claim that even the stages of embryonic development are revealed there. Of course, there is controversy about this interpretation. Many scientists disagree, but the problem lies elsewhere. If these are really just ornaments, why such a delicate and continuous arrangement? And if they are symbols of some biological process, where did people get such an idea thousands of years ago? The answers to the questions are not easy, because the exact date of the artifact is also disputed. Its material is such that many conventional tests cannot provide a definitive conclusion. As a result, the object remains a mystery to this day. But that's not all. Some other strange stone tools have been found in the same collection, the structure of which has been compared to modern medical equipment. Some say these are mere coincidences. Others say we may be seeing faint traces of knowledge, most of which has been lost to time. What is true is still unclear. But the mysterious history of Colombia does not end there, because the next discovery was not of stone, but of gold. And it raises a question that even some engineers have hesitated to answer. In the late 20th century, some aircraft designers noticed something strange while examining a gold artifact in Colombia. The official description of the object was called the artistic form of a bird or fish, but to their eyes, it looked like something else. The shape of its wings, the arrangement of the rear part, and the overall design showed a surprising similarity to some basic features of modern aircraft. At first, it seemed like a fantasy, but out of curiosity, they created a model based on it. What happened next further fueled the debate. The model exhibited stable behavior in the air. This is where the question begins. Did the ancient craftsmen create such designs just for beauty? Or did they observe some features of nature that we interpret in other languages today? Of course, this does not mean that they created modern airplanes, but it is also true that these golden objects are still the center of curiosity today, because some of their features are not easy to explain. And when researchers were looking for answers to these mysteries, they realized that the greatest wonder of Colombia may not be hidden in a small artifact, but in an entire lost city. A city that had disappeared behind the jungle for centuries, a place whose existence was once considered legendary, but later it turned out that reality is more amazing than imagination. And the next chapter of our journey will begin with the story of that lost city. But one question still remains. If the ancient people of Colombia were really so advanced, where are their greatest creations? Where are their cities? Where are their roads, markets, administrative centers, or any sign of the thousands of people who lived there? For many years, A large part of historians believed that the dense jungles of Colombia could never have sustained a large-scale urban civilization for long. Nature is so powerful here that no matter what humans build, within a few centuries the jungle would swallow it up. But at the end of the 20th century, a discovery came to light that shook this idea. Deep in the mountainous jungle of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta in northern Colombia, some local people found some stone steps that did not seem very important at first. But as step after step, path after path, and stone after stone began to emerge, a terrible truth gradually became clear. This was not a single structure. This was an entire city. A lost city, hidden behind the jungle for centuries. What we know today as Ciudad Perdida, or Lost City, was one of the most astonishing creations of the ancient Tairona civilization. The city was built on a mountain slope in such a way that it disappeared into the jungle from a distance. The numerous stone steps, connecting roads, drainage systems, and planned architecture quickly made researchers realize that this was no ordinary settlement. What is even more surprising is that it is several centuries older than the famous Machu Picchu. That is, while many regions of Europe were still in the turmoil of the Middle Ages, a well-organized society developed its urban life in the mountainous regions of Colombia. But this is where the mystery begins, because when the Spanish conquistadors entered the region, they wrote down descriptions of numerous settlements, roads, and trade centers in the vicinity, yet there is no mention of this huge city in their documents. How is it possible? Did a city, inhabited by thousands of people, spread over a large part of the mountains, really escape their eyes? Or did those who knew about the city's existence deliberately keep its location secret? The question is still not completely resolved, and the matter becomes even more complicated when researchers realize that we have not yet discovered the entire city. Many areas under the jungle are still unexplored. With each new survey, new terraces, new structures, and new connections are found. It is as if the city is slowly revealing itself. But what is even more surprising is the people who still consider themselves the descendants of this ancient civilization. The Kogi people still live in the highlands of the mountains. They see themselves as the ancient guardians of this land. Their way of life is largely isolated from the modern world. They have maintained their culture for centuries without relying on electricity, the internet, or modern technology. Many researchers and documentary filmmakers have tried to talk to them, and almost every time one thing has come to the fore. They see the earth as a living entity. They believe that mountains, rivers, forests, and the sky are not separate. They are part of the same living system. When man indiscriminately destroys nature, he actually damages his own existence. Surprisingly, the Kogi people have been expressing many of the same ideas that modern environmental science is warning us about today. But here a new question arises. If these people are indeed the descendants of the ancient Tairona civilization, what do they know that we don't? Why have they given so much importance to this region for centuries? And the most important question, is Ciudad Perdida really the only lost city, or was it part of a larger network? Because in recent years, modern technology has been used to find structures in various parts of Colombia, which indicate that there may still be many unknown settlements hidden under the jungle, settlements that the world does not yet know about. And while researchers were trying to unravel the mystery of the lost cities, they encountered another strange thing. This time, the mystery is not a city, nor a gold mine, but hundreds of huge stone statues whose creators we do not even know the real names of. Those silent sentinels carved from thousands of tons of stone still stand today, but their creators seem to have completely disappeared from the pages of history. And that is where our next mystery story begins. But no matter how amazing the mystery of Ciudad Perdida is, the most uncomfortable questions in Colombian history have yet to be answered, because at least we can see a lost city. It has roads, it has steps, it has stones. But what if we talk about a civilization that built more than 1,000 monuments, but did not even leave a name for itself? What if we talk about people who built huge stone sculptures, but almost disappeared from history? Then the matter is no longer limited to archaeology. Then it becomes a deep mystery of human memory. The San Agustin region, located in the highlands of the Magdalena River Valley in southern Colombia, has been the center of curiosity of researchers for decades. Hundreds of huge stone statues are scattered here. Some look like people, some like animals, and some are so strange that it is difficult to put them in any known category. Many of the statues have an unusual mixture of human features and those of predators. Here are jaguar teeth, here human eyes, here bird beaks, as if these are not real animals, but symbols of a world that where the boundaries between man and nature blur. The most surprising thing is that we know very little about who made these huge sculptures. Researchers call them the San Agustin culture for convenience, but that is not their real name. The real name is lost in the darkness of history. They left no written language, no list of kings, no stories of conquest. They left only stones. And those stones still stand silently after thousands of years. Some statues were placed on tombs, some next to ceremonial sites. Some stand as if they are guarding an invisible border. Some researchers believe that they were religious symbols. Others say that they are images of the spiritual transformation of shamans. But no explanation answers all the questions, because many of the statues show symbols that are surprisingly similar to the cultures of distant regions of South America. However, it is not certain whether there was direct contact between those peoples. So how did similar symbols spread over such a wide area? This is a question that has not yet been fully answered, and this is where the mystery deepens, because there is no clear evidence of the collapse of this civilization. In history, we often see signs of destruction, wars, fires, invasions, famines. But in the San Agustin region, it is different. Here it seems that people have gradually disappeared. There are no huge ruins, no battlefields, just silence. As if they were once there, then once there were no more. And in that silence, hundreds of stone sentinels stand guard. But if you think this is the strangest mystery in Colombia, then get ready now. Because our next destination is a place where the stones are not just statues. They are like an ancient language looking up at the sky, a region in central Colombia, which the locals have long known as the Little Hell. There are countless stone pillars standing upright in the ground. For many years, they have been interpreted as signs of simple fertility worship. Tourists come, take pictures, and go back. But when some researchers later began to measure the positions of the pillars, the picture changed. They noticed that many of the pillars were not placed randomly. Instead, they followed a specific astronomical pattern. They were related to the positions of sunrise and sunset on certain days of the year. Some pillars formed lines of sight that pointed to the positions of certain stars. This was not a coincidence. It was planned, and here comes the most mysterious part. Some of the lines of sight pointed to points that could not be seen from the ground. To observe them, you need a very high place, a height that is no longer there today. So the question is, where did that height go? Was there a structure there, an observation tower, a natural high ground that was later destroyed? We don't know. But what we do know is quite amazing, because it proves that observing the sky was an important part of their lives. They knew the path of the sun, they calculated time, they understood the changes of the seasons, and they probably had some knowledge, much of which is now lost. So far, we have seen a mysterious stone disk, a flying golden figure, a lost city hidden under the jungle, stone sentinels of an unnamed civilization, and an ancient stone field aligned with the sky. But the most important question has not yet been asked, because there is a common thread hidden within all these mysteries. They all point to a past that we do not fully understand. And as modern science tries to reconstruct that lost past, new discoveries are forcing us to reconsider old ideas. And that is where our final and most thought-provoking chapter begins. But this is where the whole story gets most uncomfortable, because what we have seen so far are not separate mysteries. They are like different pieces of the same puzzle. A stone disc with something carved on it that seems far ahead of its time. A strange shape made of gold that still puzzles puzzles engineers. A city hidden under the jungle for centuries. Monuments carved from thousands of tons of stone, whose builders did not even leave their names. And stone pillars arranged in harmony with the movements of the sky, which indicate observations from a height that no longer exists today. When viewed separately, each mystery is amazing. But when they are all seen together, the matter becomes different. Then it seems that we are looking at a history, a large part of which is still shrouded in darkness. Perhaps we know very little about the people who once inhabited this land. Perhaps their knowledge, their observations, and their way of understanding the world were much more complex than we think. Because one of the biggest mistakes in history is that we often assume that the past means simple and the present means advanced. But reality often tells a different story. Sometimes a trace of a lost civilization raises hundreds of questions, the answers to which are not easily found, even with modern technology. And Colombia is a country full of just such questions. Questions whose answers may still be buried deep in the jungle, maybe in a mountain valley, maybe in an undiscovered cemetery, or maybe in an object lying in the corner of a museum that has not yet been seriously examined. And the most amazing thing is that this search is not over yet. Every year, new surveys are being conducted using new technologies. New maps are being made, new excavations are being started. And almost every time, researchers find something that challenges old ideas. Imagine, right now, a researcher might be looking at a computer screen. Maybe a new scan is revealing the outline of a structure that the world still doesn't know about. Maybe in the next few years, there will be a discovery that will force us to rewrite some chapters of the history books. And that's why history is never truly dead. Because the past still speaks to us, sometimes through a stone, sometimes through a golden statue, sometimes through a road buried under the jungle, and never through a mystery that we haven't found the answer to yet. So now the question is for you. Which of today's 5 mysteries surprised you the most? That mysterious stone disc? The golden artifacts that seem to be able to fly? The lost city hidden deep in the jungle? The thousands of stone guards of an unnamed civilization? Or that strange field of stones aligned with the sky? Just write the name of the mystery in the comments. I really want to know which part gave you the most thought. And if you've watched this far in the video, you're probably one of those who still believe that there are many questions in the world that we haven't found the answers to. That's why on this channel we find the strangest, most uncomfortable, and most mysterious stories in history. If you like such searches, then subscribe to the channel now, because ahead we will enter all those places where history wants to remain silent, but the evidence still speaks. And believe me, the next story may be even more mysterious than today's story, because the older the world, the deeper its secrets, and our search has only just begun.